Hi, I'm Matthias. I'm a psychotherapist, and I specialize in working with trauma.
Hi, I'm Joey. I'm an author and a poet.
This is a podcast where we dive deep into complicated questions.
And share our personal experiences.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll gain some insight.
Or maybe just leave with more questions.
Yeah, well, the thing is, we're two dudes who probably just need some more therapy.
Okay, Matthias, how do you balance your life? You have 2 kids, a wife. You don't use social media on weekends.
I don't, yeah.
What's going on with that?
What's going on with that? It's a work-life balance. I have all sorts of little routines and stuff that I've chipped together. Here's the reality with all this stuff, though. Is like, I could tell you
in like the first minute.
Huh? Oh yeah, that was it. That's my answer.
In the first minute, you're like, here's the reality. This is it.
Here's the reality. Well, I think that there's an allure with like, what's your morning routine? What are like the little habits and things that you do for work-life balance? Hoping that there's some secret thing that I haven't thought of that if I do that, then it'll make all my problems go away. And that would be sweet. I wish I could tell you that there was like this one thing I do that makes all the difference in the world. But the reality is that it's often the cumulative value of all these little tiny micro habits put together that actually move the needle. And they're all very specific to my context and my life. And so some of them may work for you and some of them may not. And that's not just a disclaimer. That's like, it's worth knowing that because I get up at 5:30 in the morning doesn't mean you should. Doesn't mean that's reasonable. It doesn't mean you get more points for being more disciplined if you do than if you don't. I get up at 5:30 because my kids get up at 6:15, 6. Sometimes 5:30. So if I want any time to myself before my kids get up, that's just the time I have to get up. So it wasn't like I'm over here, Mr. Stoic, trying to get up early in the morning.
Bright side.
That's just the reality of it. So I get up at 5:30. And
what time do you go to bed?
Like 8:39. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I know.
Bad life.
Dude, yeah. And I have friends that are like musicians that love to stay up late. And I can't do it. They'll be like, hey, dude, do you want to hang out Thursday? I'm like, yeah, great. When? It's like, meet up at like 10 at the spot. I'm like, a.m.? Oh, I work. I'm like, no, p.m. I'm like, oh, dude, I've been asleep like an hour and a half. Like, no way. There's no chance. There's no chance at all that I'm going to hang out with you.
Is it ever worth it?
I have like
to go hang out with them versus lose that sleep?
I have a couple friends who are really neat musicians that come into Nashville and they have cool, fun, fancy things they do. I'm not going to name drop, but sometimes I'll do it for them. But honestly, I'm the tired, lazy dude in the room. I came to one cool, neat thing. I'm not going to make it sound all fancy. I went to a cool thing with a cool person once and I stood in the corner and just wanted to be in bed the whole time. there was people, it was super fun. It was not. I wanted to be in bed. So it's almost just not worth it. Even if it's really fancy, I just want to be in bed. Because I love bed and I have young kids and I just don't care anymore. I don't care if you have Grammy Awards. I just want to be in bed. And that's where I'm at emotionally in my life. What were we talking about?
What kind of bed do you have? I want to know what kind of bed you have.
I have a purple mattress. They're great.
A purple mattress. Yeah. Oh, right. That's a company. Not just the color. Got it. And you like it? Does that come in a box?
It does, yeah. It's like one of those, it's on a grid. So it does take a little bit to get used to. It's like a little bit of a different texture when you first lay down on it, but it's very supportive, very soft. And I sleep just like a baby in it. I don't think I'll ever get a different bed. I absolutely love it. Unless a podcast sponsor comes on here that's a different bed. And then I'll say that I've always slept on one of those and those are the best ones I've ever had. Because I am a sellout to mattress companies. I'm just joking.
So if this is foreshadowing and this comes up, people, you will know.
Just joking. You'll all know the truth. No, Matthias doesn't like those other beds. He likes his purple bed, which he gets paid $0 to talk about. Yeah, I love it. It's great. What bed do you sleep on?
Oh gosh, I just have a classic mattress that I need to change. But I've been wanting to get a king size bed.
Nice, they're great.
And so I've kind of been holding out until we just renovated our whole the whole main floor of our house, minus a bathroom. So we haven't like done any like furnishing stuff yet. We haven't changed anything out yet. So eventually I'll go the king size bed and maybe try out the Casper, maybe a purple.
Wow.
Maybe a purple.
Wow. I could talk you into it. It's great. It's a really great mattress. I have their pillows as well. They have great pillows. I'm full brand loyalty over to the purple. You were asking though about what my routines or habits, or what was the original question you asked me about?
Just like how you balance your life.
Balance my life. Okay. Well, the reason I brought that up was like
fun.
I had to like micro plan kind of different aspects of my day just to keep things balanced and things feeling good. And so I really run on routine as much as I can, because the nice thing about routine, it's not just like it's a grown-up thing to do or it's like a mature thing to do. It's actually the easier way to do it, because if you don't have to think about it and if it's just pre-programmed in, it's already just like something you do. It takes less mental friction to keep it going. I think when you live a completely spontaneous life, it's stressful. When you have pockets of spontaneity, then it's fun. And I didn't know that at first. Like, I'm a pretty creative dude. I'm like really artsy, ADD. Like, I'm not the kind of guy who just loves tons of structure by nature, but I put a lot of it in because I realized I feel a lot better. And then my moments of spontaneity and kind of going off the rails is a lot more interesting and fun. You're not spontaneous if you're always chaotic. That's not called spontaneity. That's like, there's no reference point for you to be spontaneous from if you have no sort of, okay, I'm getting too abstract. I'm sorry.
No, that's good.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so the structure does help a lot. That's what I realized in my like late 20s. So I get up at the same time every single day, even on the weekends. That gets my circadian rhythms in a really good spot. I think you just feel better, like kind of always. And I don't really even use an alarm anymore. My body just wakes up at 5:30 and I get sleepy, super sleepy, 9 o'clock every single night. So that's because for like the past year and a half, I just get up and I go to bed at the exact same time. So that was a pretty good move. And then I get my Bible reading in. I spend the first like 30 minutes, 45 minutes reading the Bible, praying, a lot of spiritual stuff. And then I'll go to the gym every day, same kind of thing. Except weekends, I don't go to the gym.
What time do you go to the gym?
6:15, 6:20, something like that. So my wife and I have a deal.
Oh, so
yeah,
okay.
I was going to tell you. My wife and I have a deal that she watches on the weekends. On the weekdays, she watches so I can go to the gym for an hour. Sometimes that actually works out to be like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Depends on if I have personal training on certain days. And then what was I going to say? Oh, on weekends. In weekends, she sleeps in and then I watch the kids. It's not a fair deal. Let's just be honest. Like, I get the better end of that deal. But I make it up to her in other ways. So we have that situation where I can go to the gym and work out, which is a big blessing. And then I come home. My wife goes upstairs to get ready for a while, and then I'll make the kids breakfast, hang out with them, play. And then I'm down at work at 9 a.m. And then I work. First hour of my day is always like creative, mental fun. And so I don't really dive into like hard task-oriented email, anything like that. I'm always just like researching something that I think is interesting. So sometimes it's like flashcards on like brain science, or sometimes it's reading a book on psychedelics and the brain, or tea. I've been getting into tea. Been getting into pens. Sometimes it's researching
reading
pens.
tea?
No, sorry.
You're
Drinking
reading on
tea.
tea?
Looking at different kinds of tea. I've been experimenting with saline and mixing salt water with tea. Just a few drops of salt water. It actually brings and enhances out the flavor of the tea. That's very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Cancels out bitterness. Most people think.
Do that too.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I hear a lot of people put saline solution in cocktails.
Yes, that's why. Because salt cancels out bitter. A lot of people think sugar cancels out bitter. That's not true. Salt cancels out bitter. So a few drops of saline in tea will actually cancel out the bitterness, bring out the flavor of the tea, and make it a lot more pleasant on your palate. That's something I learned recently. And
what if you put a little salt in with your, like if you made a simple syrup, you put a little salt in that.
Come on, let's go.
And then you have your syrupy saltiness all in one.
All right. That's what I'm doing tomorrow morning.
I'm on to something.
You're on to something.
I'm on to it.
Okay, those are things that fill me up and really keep me going. I'll shorten it. And then I get off work at 4 o'clock. And then I'm hanging out with the kids until they go to bed around 7. Paige and I tag team dinner. Sometimes I'm making it, sometimes she's making it. We clean up. And then Paige and I have some one-on-one time before we go to bed at 8:39. Sometimes I see friends. We have a small group on Tuesdays from our church, so we hang out with those folks. Yeah, and then weekends are pretty open-ended. We kind of do all sorts of different stuff on the weekends. That's like my pretty hard-lined routine. I don't really deviate from that much at all. So when we talk about like work-life balance or how do you stay balanced? I'm like, because I fine tuned it, and like
Mm-hmm.
that's why I say, like, I don't know if that routine doesn't work for a lot of people, because not everyone has the luxury to go to work at 9 and get off at 4. That's a big privilege. I mean, but that's how I've organized things. So, yeah.
Now, Paige is a hairdresser?
She was a hairdresser for like 7 years, 8 years. And then, when everything took off for me with TikTok and Instagram and making videos online, my income changed as a result of that as well. And so then she got to take off and just be at home full time with the kids, which is awesome. And so, now she stays home and hangs out with the kids, and we're loving life. Yeah.
Good for you.
Thanks, man. What now,
how was...
I was going to ask you the same question.
I'm not done.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm not done.
You're fine.
How did that conversation look? Because I know a lot of couples have, there's a lot of anxiety around money.
Oh, I thought you meant the
was
gym.
That a conversation that
I'm like, listen, babe, I want to go to the gym. Yeah, I don't know how that conversation worked. Wait,
right?
What are you...
Like, did you bring it up being like, okay, I'm seeing a lot of success now? Or did she bring it up? Or did you mutually look at it and be like, I'm making the money for 2 right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a really, really good spot. I'm very fortunate. We have 2 kids. So instead of paying a nanny or paying for some help or daycare or whatever, let's go down this route, and maybe you become a full-time mom.
Well, I'll give you the honest answer. It's it was in the middle of COVID, and we bought a couch for $1,000. It was very exciting. It's the most we've ever bought a couch for.
It's a purple.
And no, it was a Restoration Hardware couch that we found in Seattle, and we drove to Seattle, from Spokane, which is a 4-hour drive, picked up the couch, stuffed it in our car, and then drove it back. And on the drive back, getting our used Restoration Hardware couch, feeling very happy with ourselves, we got the word that the governor had shut down hair salons and that Paige could no longer work. And we're like, oh, well, there goes that. And I had just graduated school a month ago, and I was starting my new job in 2 weeks. And so our income evaporated immediately, and I had my new job starting in 2 weeks, but I was making, I think, $50,000 a year at that point, which, it's a great wage, but it was less than what Paige was making. And so I think we were both pretty nervous at that point around what we were going to do. We had an emergency fund. We had some savings that I think we were going to make it okay, but we ate out of our freezer and just kind of like really made sure that things were, tight and compact and okay. So we financially were really struggling for like probably a few months. I would say 5-ish months. We were pretty slim, and I think we ate through our emergency fund pretty quick, and we were kind of starting to have some serious conversations around what we were going to do. I don't know. We just budgeted really differently. And then TikTok and Instagram blew up in the way that they did. And that was really exciting. So then when the kind of like the ban on hair salons kind of lifted, then the question was like, okay, do you want to go back to work? Not. And then she did. She went back to work for a while, and she was pregnant with our daughter. And she was just doing incredible stuff, working, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. on her feet with holding that baby all the way up till 9 months pregnant, just going. And then she had Etta. I was there. And then after just being with her, I was like, Paige, I think we're at a spot where actually it's okay. Like we're doing okay. Like you could take off if you wanted to, but you kind of just get in that mentality of like, oh, we're really struggling. We don't have enough money. We need to keep work so we can get more money. Like that you kind of just get into that headspace, and it's hard to then realize like, oh, circumstances can change quickly, and then you can, act accordingly. And so I think it took like a little while just to kind of like equal out and be like, oh, okay, no, I actually do feel comfortable with that I can shift that. And then that happened kind of in tangent with moving to Franklin, Tennessee, around that same time. So then when we moved to Franklin, it was like she didn't have all of her clients, that she had in Washington for hair. And so she was like, I either start over or I just kind of, step into this world of just being a mom. And that's what she chose to do. That's what she wanted to do. So good for her.
This must have been a good sale on this couch.
Dude, I mean, those couches, here's the thing. It actually
expensive.
Dude, I know. I mean, those couches. Here's the thing, it was a really uncomfortable couch. I mean, I hate to say it. It was one of those cloud couches that's like all down. It's like a down couch.
Oh, yeah.
And the thing about that is it doesn't hold form. Like, so you need to fluff your couch every time you want to sit on it, or it gets all down packed, and then it's just like a thuddy, flat, unsupportive couch. So pre-fluffed, that's a great couch. Post-fluff, it's kind of high maintenance. Look at me. I'm complaining about $1,000 couch. How snooty am I right now?
Yeah, but those couches are more than 1,000.
They are. That's why we drove to Seattle. That's why we drove there. Because I knew, those are like $5,000 couches. Like, those are insane. Yeah. So I was like, it was like $1,000. I was just hoping like a dog didn't pee on it or something. And that was the reason it was $1,000. But no, we got there and it was in fine shape.
That's good. I like that you said that though, because Angelica and I have been looking at, we're trying to just get an idea of how we want to furnish our new place. Mm-hmm. And we do need a new couch. I've had like this IKEA couch that's held up for like 6 years and it fits our space perfectly, but it's time. And she really likes the idea of this cloud couch. But I'm like, I'm not really all for it. It looks comfy, but then I feel like after a few years it might not be. Yeah. And then she kind of likes the lived in look. And I'm like, okay, I'm kind of for it. But hearing you say this now, maybe I'll save myself that like $10,000 and not.
Dude, I'm telling you, you could buy a car. You could put a down payment on a house for that couch. 10 grand?
Yeah.
Holy smokes. Dude, you could get a college degree. Maybe not all of one, but a large part of a college degree for that couch.
My college cost, I want to say 11,000 something plus tax.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you could get a college degree.
Yeah, you can study what I studied.
Become a Joey Kidney poet TikToker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's work-life balance was honestly just a process of fine-tuning a lot of different features of your mornings and your evenings, sticking to a pretty solid routine. And then financially it was like, it wasn't necessarily like we premeditated how to achieve that. It was more like the circumstances shifted and then we adjusted accordingly. I know some people that like really plan it out. They go full Dave Ramsey. They pay off a ton of debt. They work through their careers to get to a place where they feel financially settled for one person to take off and stay home with the kids if that's what they want to do. And great on them. Like that takes a lot of self-discipline and vision, and I respect it a lot. And I don't want to claim something that wasn't the case. I think there was a bunch of circumstances mixed with doing the best with what we had that landed us there.
Now, when you say go to work, are you going anywhere?
I go to my garage. Yep. That's where I work.
Okay, so all of your work is done virtually.
Yeah, I see all my clients virtually. That's right. And then the sets that you're looking at, if you're looking at the YouTube video, this is what my, I don't know, like a therapy office kind of looks like, but this isn't actually a therapy office. This is a set that I built to look like one. And I do all my counseling over Zoom.
Wow.
I know. Broke the fourth wall.
Did you have any drop off of clients because they really liked, did you have any clients in person?
Yeah, I did. I had almost all in person. Yeah.
Did any of them drop? No, eh?
No, yeah, none of them. Yeah, because the way the law works is, because I'm licensed in Washington, and my clients live in Washington, I can still see them over Zoom legally. I can't see clients in Tennessee. I'm not licensed in Tennessee. So I could be if I wanted to fill out the paperwork, but I just haven't gotten around to it. So I see all my clients in Washington still.
Interesting. You must be pretty good then. You must be all right.
I do all right. I love the in-person client experience. That I really, really miss.
Yeah, do you miss it?
I do.
Yeah.
I miss being in person. But the virtual is really great, and I just love sessions in general. I love actually doing the work with people. I think it's fun, of course, to make videos and to get to make mental health stuff accessible for folks and to do workshops. Like, I really get a lot of enjoyment out of that. But to get one-on-one with someone and actually do the work and help people heal from trauma, that's the bread and butter, man. I love it. Some people, when they kind of get to a level of notoriety with a book or with some sort of like public thing that they're doing, they stop seeing clients immediately. And that's never been a temptation for me. I really enjoy it.
I find that's what's like separates you from a lot of the other creators that talk about mental health. I feel like you're speaking from experience, and the experience could be, so not saying that you're sharing those sessions live, but you can definitely feel that.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for
now
saying that.
going into the balance of, I want to go into balance of like work and work, because you have your therapy, and then you have the TikTok, Instagram, social media side. How do you feel about like, this is the same set that you're in all day long filming for both jobs, let's say.
Yeah.
How do you balance that?
I guess I don't really feel the fatigue of it. As far as the balance between seeing people in sessions and then doing video work, I think I have one of the sweetest jobs you could ever hope for. Like, I get to share my ideas about how to connect to people that you love and how to process the most important events in your life with lots of people. And that's the best. I love what I do. I get to talk about the thing I'm most interested about, and then help people with some of the stuff they're struggling with the most. And then for a lot of people, it seems to really help. And so, I wake up and I feel like I've won the lottery. I'm just having the best time. Yeah. So I don't necessarily.
Doing this
go ahead. What?
Are you doing this in 20 years?
Oh yeah. I'm here for the long haul.
Yeah.
I'll be Mr. Rogers in a sweater, just like kicking it until I don't know. I probably won't retire unless Alzheimer's devours my brain. So, I mean, that might happen. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'll be here. Maybe not behind this desk. I'll probably change my set a little bit. But I love what I do. I mean, therapy's kind of like that. Therapy
That's awesome.
is a job where the older you get, the more kind of like people seem to think you know what you're talking about, because if you're old, that kind of gives the allure of wisdom, right? So the wider my beard gets, the more I am in demand, not less. There's some jobs where the older you get, you kind of age out of certain industries, but in therapy, you kind of age in. If anything, me being young is kind of a detractor for a lot of folks. So the older I get, the more cozy I'll get. I love this thing, man. This is it for me. I'm here.
That's awesome.
I might deviate. Actually, I take that back. I might deviate and do some more stuff that's more focused on church work and do some work within the church for a while. There might be a season of my life where I stop doing psychology work on a public platform, and I might make it a bit more local and spend most of my time in a smaller community doing stuff. I've daydreamed about that a bit. I might do that.
Take a little step down from the whole social media side. Yeah.
So I guess I don't see that as, it's more of a change than me stopping or starting something. It's more just a pivot.
Right.
Yeah. I could see me doing that at some point.
Which is the name of the game in social media. It's constant pivot.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I don't even know if these platforms or what we, regard as social media will even be around in 5-10 years. AI will take over everything. And so, there'll be some AI representation of me helping people heal from trauma, and then I'll be just doing my thing in my neighborhood, talking with people. So, that's
awesome. I can just picture like you at like the end of your laneway with your garage door open, and there's just like a lineup of people coming in to get therapy.
I'm here
That'd
for
be
it.
Awesome.
Man. I'm here for it. Well, what about you? Work-life balance. I mean, you're in a different circumstance than me. I think the benefit of my circumstances is kids kind of nail me down into a routine anyway. And so I think my circumstance, especially having kids, just kind of changes my routine in a big way on its own, outside of me trying to make it so. So for you, where you have a lot of more flexibility, you kind of have a larger canvas of how your day could look, how have you figured out work-life balance?
Right now, my life is I have my girlfriend Angelica with me, and then my brother is visiting, and in total we have 3 dogs. And so this has kind of made me feel like I have kids. I'm glad you feel that way. I'm the one that does. I'm not trying to like. Your job is way harder. Trust me.
Oh no, do your thing. Go ahead.
I definitely feel that I have to, put on my caregiver hat.
Yeah, absolutely.
And do my tasks and put food on the table. And I'm the one that cooks. I'm the one that like cleans. I'm the one that takes the garbage out and does all that stuff.
Yeah.
So right now in my life, I'm actually on the most routine I've ever been on. And I've actually been trying to do, I saw a video by Mel Robbins, and she talked about the let them theory.
Yeah.
Do you know that?
That's a great, yeah, I love that from her. That's great.
Yeah. And so I was like, I feel like I should implement that in my life. And so one day I just didn't cook dinner and no one brought it up. No one brought, what are we having for dinner? No one brought anything up like that. And so it like 9 p.m. hit, and like I hear the stomach growling, and I'm like, no one's gonna think about this at all. I'm letting them try to bring it up, and no. So then I had to cook up a meal. So my routine is definitely different right now. I'm definitely like, I feel very father figure role in my life right now.
Yeah.
Which at first I was like, oh, I'm not ready for this. But now I'm like, wait, I'm still going.
Yeah.
I'm still kicking. I could do this. So that was kind of a nice little moment for me of realization that, okay, the next step in my life is definitely coming. And my girlfriend and I have talked about having kids and the plan for that.
Good.
And so at first I was really scared. And in this moment of stress and chaos in my life right now, I'm like, yeah, I could probably do it.
Good.
So my routine is
awesome.
so different. My balance is very, very different right now. And I've had a really big struggle with it, but I've had to pivot with that recently. And so my work day, I like to do spurts of work. Like I'm very fortunate where I can work from home, and I'm self-employed. I work for myself. So I wake up and I do work right away. And I usually wake up around like 7 a.m. and I do like the whole no alarm thing. My body just does.
Great.
And so I get my little work done there. Then everybody else wakes up. So I'm making people breakfast, people coffees, I'm feeding the dogs. And then, and then I go back to work, and then around like 10, 11. And then around, let's say between the hours of like 1 and 3, then I take the dogs out for like a hike or a run or a walk. And then I come back, and then I'll do some more work, and then I'll prepare dinner. And then after dinner, I'll do more work, but then I'll do a workout. And then around 8 or 9 p.m., the camera's off.
Good. It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. It's a little chaotic. So I definitely want structure, but there's too many moving parts right now to have that pinpoint structure. It's kind of like this, it's kind of chaotic structure. And it kind of goes with the point that you were saying that, the way that you just described your routine, I can't take that and implement it in my life right now. It wouldn't work.
Totally.
Right. Yeah. Because I'm dealing with too many different things, but your kids, they're not going out for a drive. You know what? Yeah. Wait, I'm just going to stop my video and do it again.
I just want to stop real quick and acknowledge that my cat has been like licking its butt for the past several minutes in the middle of our episode. And
I was going to point it out, but I know that some people aren't watching.
It really adds to the aesthetic, adds to the vibe for sure. Now it's licking its toes.
If we had ASMR of that, people would love it.
I would stop listening to my own episode. I'd be out. Gross.
Oh, gosh.
You were talking about, the routines don't necessarily be copy and paste over other people's lives. Different circumstances.
They can't be.
So wait, okay, with all that work, you're working 9-hour days, 12-hour days? Like what, how many hours does that add up to every day?
Well, each day is different.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably. So I'd say between the 9 to 12.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
a lot of work.
It's fun. And in the mornings, I've been trying to read a little bit. I'm not a big reader, but I'm trying to read a few things. I'm kind of like jumping between 2 books. The Gottmans just released the 8 Dates book.
Yeah, it's great.
That I'm really enjoying. And then there's another book, and I don't know his name, The Second Mountain. It's about the two mountains that we have. Yeah. One is about just how the first mountain is when we're trying to find our own success or our money or our fame. And then the second mountain is when we start to appreciate others and let our joy, it's transition from happiness to joy, and that joy be through other people and serving other people. And
that sounds like a great book.
It's kind of being there. Yeah. I mean, I heard a creator, Ali Abdal, talk about it, and I was like, I feel like this is something that I would enjoy. It's not necessarily self-help-y. Sure. There's some self-help books that are like, do this and you will see happiness. That's not really it. I think he's kind of more voicing his own struggles, more from experiences, which I kind of like, because that's kind of how I write.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah,
that's really sweet. That's cool. Yeah, it's also something that's in flux, and I think that at different stages in your life, your routine looks different also. And your work-life balance is supposed to look different.
Actually, what I was going to ask you, what is a piece of advice that you would give to somebody listening right now that would say they're in their later 20s and they're thinking back, they just keep reminiscing on the fact that it's like, okay, but when I was 18, I could be spontaneous. I could just do whatever I wanted. I could go with my friends. I could drink however much I wanted. I could wake up and I could do this. I could work out. My body was fine. But now it's not feeling that way. And I wish it was.
Yeah.
What would you say to that?
Well, I think that life kind of goes in rhythms. Like whenever I get the work-life balance question, I always kind of shifted away from like, well, what's the right balance to what's the rhythm you're in? Meaning that like there's seasons where you're supposed to work 12-hour days. There's seasons where you're supposed to work a lot. Like there's seasons where you're supposed to study and you stay up late and you do the all-nighters. And it's just like, there's seasons where you're supposed to do that. And then there's seasons where you kind of pull it back and you focus more on family than you do work. You focus more on your friendships, more on getting out in nature. You stay out late, you party, you socialize versus, staying in and doing hard work. Like all those things have rhythms when you're supposed to do all of them. And I think that we kind of get caught in just like moralizing different routines and making them better or worse than others. Like maybe you moralize and kind of think highly of the super efficient, like work, kind of Alex Hormozy kind of lifestyle of like, all I do is work and I'm going to build an empire. Like you can do that. Like Gary Vaynerchuk, the whole thing. Like, or, like for me, my kids are super young. So when all the success that came my way happened, it was like, I went to Paige and I was like, we can make a lot of different versions of this. Like I can build my career in a lot of different kinds of ways. And then the conversation went immediately to like, I would rather make less money and be less well known and have time with my kids than the opposite. And so 9 to 4 was like this radical choice that we made of like, that's the opposite of what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to pour gas on the fire. And instead I pulled back and I was just like, this is what I want to do with the success. This is what I want to do with whatever the blessings, the privilege that came from everything that happened was like more time with my daughter and my son. And so that's the choice I'm making. And I'm going to live with that choice. Some people, like, for example, like I just know of accounts that kind of started around the same time that I did, or accounts that are around the same size that, have lapped me, by now and are growing and they're getting headline spots at conferences where I'm doing breakout sessions. And, and that's fine. I don't feel any sort of envy or weird competition there. It's just like, I made a different choice. And I love the fruit of what came from me, what came from my choice. Like I was sitting at a round table. This was like maybe a year ago, and it was with a bunch of influencer types. We all went on a fishing trip, and it was a pretty funny group of people. Not all therapy influencers. I know, it was weird. It was like a bunch of influencers that all kind of around the 500,000 to 1 million mark, and there was like 19 of us, and we all went to Montana and went fishing, and it was a great group. One of them, and they're not all even like social media influencers. One of them, one was like a congressman, and then one was like, I don't know. Anyway, so it was a weird group, and we were sitting around the table one night, and everyone was just going around in a circle and talking about like what they need kind of encouragement for, what they're kind of struggling with, and one by one, Joey, all of them go around and they say, I'm burnout. I'm tired. I kind of hate my job, but I have to do it. And I don't know what to do. I don't know how to pivot out of it. And I work and I work, and I feel like my kids are growing up and I'm not seeing them. And I feel like my partner's not happy with me. And they're just like, I feel burnout and exhausted. And then it got to me and I'm just like, I feel great. I didn't say that. But I'm thinking in my head, I feel awesome.
I'm doing all right.
I'm doing really well.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not burnout. I'm full of energy for what's coming my way. I'm stressed. Like everything that I'm doing is really important to me. So of course that comes with stress, but I'm here for it. And I'm going to keep being here for it for another 5, 10, 20 years. Like, and I think it's because I made that choice to move slower, so to speak. And so, yeah, that was right for my season. That's the season of my family, what I'm doing. And I know other people that work really long hours, and that's the season that they're supposed to be in. And other folks who, they don't have like kids or anything, but they just prefer to live a more slow lifestyle, and that's good. That's not lazy either. They love spending time with their friends. They love enjoying things that are beautiful and good, going on hikes and traveling and getting to just enjoy time with their community and cooking and being in their home and making it beautiful. And they don't have any intention of being this like hyper entrepreneur, and that's love and life for them, and that's good. And I guess my whole point at the end of this is like, there's lots of different ways to make an optimal routine and have a work-life balance. And that depends a lot on your priorities and what you want for the season that you're in. And it's okay. It's okay we sometimes have an idealized image of what our routine is supposed to be that is sitting in the shadow of the people that we think are where we want to go. But man, I just, I don't have a cool way to end that statement. That's it. I think that we need to be okay with the rhythm of where we're at.
Not that you need the validation, but I feel like I don't feel like I know you made the right decision.
Yeah, I think so.
In pulling back and doing what you did with your career.
Yeah. Thanks.
That was it.
Yeah, I think so. I'm really happy with how it's been going so far. And ultimately, man, that little girl and that little boy in my house, like, they just fill my soul to the brim. And I just don't think there's anything in my career that can touch that. And everything I'm doing in my career is for them anyway, so it just, I feel really at peace and a lot of joy in that decision.
I feel like a lot of people lose that sight though.
Well, I mean, let's be honest, man. Not everyone has.
They get to that situation.
Yeah, but not everyone has the privilege to do that. Like, some folks are just financially under a ball of stress that does not allow for a 9-to-4. That is just such a unique, like 1% kind of privileged situation. And I know people who have 2 jobs and they're working, and they would love to hang out with their kids and see them. And I feel for them, and that's why I want to hold that tenderly. I don't want to say that as an ideal. It is fortunate, but it's also intentional. It's both. It's intentionality within fortune. And so I think that there's people who have the fortune and then don't handle it, maybe with wisdom in accordance to their own values. And I think that can lead to a certain kind of guilt and sadness that, also produces suffering in a different way. I don't know what I'm saying in that. I guess I just want to temper it. I'm aware of the uniqueness of that.
Well, to you, your kids retain a higher value than money.
Yeah.
Your relationships come first.
Yeah.
And it's different for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the people that are close to me that I'm no longer friends with, they chose money.
Yeah.
Over
some people do.
a lot of the relationships in their lives. I feel like money does affect who we are.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Every situation is different. I feel it.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. Work-life balance. This was good. Good conversation.
It's a great conversation.
How do we end it?
Well, I think I'd like to say, because now we're podcast in. If you guys are enjoying this, if anybody's listening, if anybody's out there,
5-star review.
Listening,
what are we gonna ask them?
Leave a 5-star.
Do you
review.
ever go and leave a 5-star review? when someone asks you to on a podcast?
I was the first on our podcast. I was the first 5-star review on These Guys Need Therapy. What do you mean, do I ever do it?
I'm just saying.
I am the guy that does it.
Do we ever, I don't know, what we say like, oh, leave us a 5-star review. Do people ever do that? Have I? Nope. I've never, when someone says, please go leave a 5-star review, I've never done it.
People are going to do it right now because we're leaving this entire conversation in.
Why should we? Talk me into it, Joey. Talk me into why I should leave 5-star reviews on podcasts I like. And then maybe we'll vicariously manipulate our followers into leaving 5-star reviews for us.
Because I want to talk more to the people. The people should leave a 5-star review on our podcast because sometimes they like to feel validated as well. They like to feel that they're a part of this.
Oh, so you're joining
in these 5 stars.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, they bring us a bigger or larger, stronger community that can bring this podcast to be something that we don't even know what it's going to be. It could be bigger than who we are right now.
So leave a 5-star review and join my family. Something like that.
Yeah.
No, there's an aspect to what you're saying that's true. It's a little dramatic, but I mean, I get it. That's true. We are making a community. I don't know if 5-star review means I get a seat at the dinner table, but
fine, leave 3.
But if you join our Patreon channel and pay the $14.99 a month, then you can get access to the deleted scenes of the Joey Matthias. I'm joking. We don't have a Patreon. I'm sorry. I don't want to mislead anybody.
We don't even have deleted scenes.
We don't have deleted scenes. Everything wrong gets left in. Yeah. Do you think we'd ever do a Patreon? I don't know.
It really depends on where this goes.
You know what I thought would be cool? Hold on. Sorry. You know what I thought would be cool is if people could call in and then leave us questions or voicemails. You know how some podcasts do that? Like you can leave a voicemail and then we can listen to it and then respond to it on the show. Wouldn't that be neat?
That'd be amazing.
I don't think we should charge people for that.
Because we definitely need...
Like we're not gonna do a podcast or like a Patreon thing to do that. I would say we just let everyone do that.
It doesn't. I don't think it needs to be. I don't think there needs to be like a monetary value behind it. But I definitely think we do have to wean out. Like it can't just be anybody. It has to be somebody that's been listening, been subscribed.
We're gonna filter.
It has to be some type of member that. I think they should be filtered up to the top. I think they deserve that, especially if they leave a 5-star review.
Wow. Whoa. What if that's how you get to leave a voicemail? Is you have to leave a 5-star review, and then you can leave a voicemail. Okay, this is interesting. I don't know how we'd even control for that.
I'll be honest, though, we don't have the technology.
We don't have the expertise. I don't code. I don't know how to track that. It could be on the honor system. All right. We'll figure that out for the next episode. No, we'll probably actually have it figured out by the time this one airs.
Yeah, I hope so.
So,
because we definitely need that third person voice aspect.
Yeah.
In this podcast.
That's right. Yeah. Even just to keep us on track. I think we've been wandering around a lot. All right. So we'll dub in the phone number at the end of this episode when we figure it out, or maybe it'll be at our broadcast channel on Instagram. You should join a broadcast channel. That's probably a better bet. That's a better bet. We can control that, and we can just post the number on there. Yeah, it's called These Guys Need Therapy on Instagram. All right, that was an outro for all outros. Bye, everybody.